Dear friends, have you ever considered that whatever you are carrying around with you as your heavy load, your backpack, your emotional trash can, whatever it is, like we all have something that we carry with us everywhere, and somehow it's very sticky, it's not moving, it's not changing. And we try and we do this and we do that. But there's just something about we keep carrying some kind of a burden with us or a task or something where we're looking for a solution or a resolution. And I want to pose this question today. What if it is not yours? What if this heavy burden that you're carrying with you and that you've been trying to resolve and trying to figure out and deepen in and be present with, the way we do things, and there's just something that's so sticky. What if it's not yours? And what if it is not yours to find a solution to or dissolve or bring to some kind of a harmony? What if it is not yours? Just feel into that for a moment. There's this something that you have been trying so hard with for years, thinking it had something to do with you, some part of yourself that you had not healed yet or looked at, and maybe you've been bypassing it. All the things that are happening in this energetic thing that troubles us. And then on top of that, we have all these layers that are just adding to the mess. What if it is not yours? What then? Just feel if that question resonates in you, if something is being touched. What if that stuff you're dealing with, trying to deal with, is not yours and it is not for you to deal with? Then what? Just feel what comes up for you, what meets that possibility. What is it in you that rises up and has some kind of engagement or reaction or response to this? Just notice it. And maybe there is a lot of wisdom in there. And as you know, I don't share things here that I've read in a book or heard on a podcast. I mean, there might be things that I've heard that invoke a response in me or a deepening or a realization. And then I share that. And of course, this is the same about this. Having had another deep seeing into that and the relief of realizing that it's not ours to carry, that it's not yours to carry, that it's not mine to carry. That's huge. And it's easy to overlook that, right? Because we're so engaged with purifying ourselves and, not doing the bypass. We want to really do it, with integrity and divine alignment. And it's so beautiful that we have that in us. So even being afraid to bypass, which in my experience is a phase we go through because we have been bypassing a lot, and then we just don't want to do it anymore. And then we start working the deeper stuff. And then there's like, am I bypassing if I just let this go? And this is all normal. It's part of the path. I've been through it. But at a certain point, you just notice you're very solid in yourself, and you will know if you're trying to avoid something. So, if I'm saying, what if this garbage can is not yours and it's okay to put it down, what does that bring up in you? Because I can see like, well, what if part of it is maybe there's a little bit of garbage in there that I need to, unhook myself, etc. And as beautiful and as noble as that is, and I really mean that because I know in myself, that deep longing to just be fully free and fully aligned and not avoid anything, not let any stone be unturned, everything. But I think many of us may have overlooked or bypassed the possibility that maybe it's not yours. It feels really nice for me to emphasize it because I think it is overlooked a lot, or we see it and then we don't quite know what to do with it because there might still be a lot of layers around it that you can't just let it go, or there's still some flavors in there that are personal, that do have to do with us, that we do need to meet. And so we have to find, of course, our own um, journey in that and our own pace so that we stay connected on our path and to our divinity. But what if the next step for some of us, for all of us, is to realize like, this is not mine. I've been trying, I can't figure it out. It's not yours. Just take that on. And I'm not saying that as if I know that that is your truth. That is something you need to feel into yourself. And you might feel a deep sense of relief, like, oh my God, I hadn't even considered that. So, you know, how about considering it right now and just see what it does to you? If there is a deep sense of relief, that might be tears, that might be a deep breath, whatever it is, then there most likely is a lot of truth to that. And again, I'm not saying that might not be something around that needs to be met, but until we are able to put down that garbage bag, we will not be able to see if there is anything we need to still meet in ourselves. So today, try and put down that big burden, that big bag of heaviness, and just imagine or feel for a moment, this is not mine. It's not mine. When we grow up, we are like little sponges. You have probably heard that before. I think specifically the first 7 years, but especially the early years, we are little sponges and we take on the energies of our parents, maybe our siblings if we have them at that time. It's an energetic thing. You know how we all have our frequency. And if there has been some heaviness, some unresolved, maybe a whole lineage, that's coming through one of your parents that has never been resolved. It is because it has been passed on and then it may have been passed on to you, to me, without thinking about it because we're just little sponges. Everything just goes in Not, there's no filter, there's no discernment. It just goes in. And then this energy, it's as if it's us. It feels like that because we can feel it in our nervous system, in our organs, in our mind, in our belly. And it's very hard to distinguish that maybe this is not mine. Maybe this is something that was passed on from your mom or your dad or your grandparents or whatever. And it was never questioned because we didn't have that capacity to question when we were little infants. And then it, goes in. The energy is always in the house. And what I've been seeing just lately again is that there was actually a part of me unknowingly, unconsciously, believing that I needed to hold that or transmute it. Again, not consciously, but there was just something in me that took that on, believing it was mine, and then and I may even have felt, I think I also felt something that it had to do with others. So I took it on to hold that because they were not able to. So there's a lot of layers, okay? We have to just see the layers as they show up. And I didn't know that it had nothing to do with me. And I'm guessing that it may be the same for many of you listening to this video. And it's just very innocently how we have taken that on as if it's us. So again, notice what is activated or what resonates or whatever when you hear that possibility that it's not yours. And because it is not yours, it is not your responsibility to resolve it. Yeah, how's that? What are you going to do with that? Are you able to just, even for a moment right now, to put down whatever burden you have been carrying with you and trying to resolve and just say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. And if you have a sense of, where it came from, it can be a very loving act to just give it back. It's almost like you can pass it back through the lineage because it ends with you and you cannot resolve other people's energies. You can only resolve your own. And what if you're resolving in this moment is to give it back or to put it down or to leave it behind? It's really something that you need to feel inside what's true for you. And of course, you don't want to leave a garbage bag just sitting, out in your garden without being responsible for it. So something has to happen with it. And you can just, again, consider just giving it back to maybe your parents, your grandparents, the whole lineage. And in that, you can just say, I realized this was never mine, and I'm returning it. I know, and this is important, and no, it is not yours either. But that is something you, whoever that is in your lineage, or, maybe something in this life, it's not yours either. But that is for you to deal with. That is not my responsibility. And I have been taking it on as if it were my responsibility. So my letting it go is to say, okay, I'm not going to hold this anymore. So I'm giving it back, whoever, whatever that is for you. And then you can have a conversation and say, maybe you want to consider the same. Is this yours? If it's somebody on the other side, is it yours? Now you're in a great place where you can deal with that. You can ask the light to help you release that if there is still something that is not free. And I don't know how it works on the other side. I know how it works here when I give it back, and I give it back with love. And I say, okay, now you can take it to the next level, and that is your responsibility. I'm complete with that. Ultimately, it's nobody's, because it is something that we have taken on from the matrix. Okay. It's an impersonal suggestion. It's an impersonal hypnotic suggestion that we have made personal by accepting it, consciously or unconsciously. As a little infant, your little sponge, it's done very unconsciously. But as we become more conscious, then of course we can do something about it and choose differently. And ultimately, all these hypnotic suggestions that are not love itself, purity itself, harmony, peace, all the qualities of the divine, anything that is not that is impersonal. And that's why it does not belong to any of us. But the part where we have made it personal, that is the work that we need to do individually. And that's why we can only do it for ourselves. And then when we pass it on, it's not personal, it's passed on, it's cleared, it was never mine. See you later. And then they have the opportunity to do the same. And that is also one way how we get out of the matrix of all these hypnotic suggestions that we have taken on as if they're true. And in that we can heal, our ancestry, whatever is still stuck as programming or something. It's all from the matrix. There is no truth in any of it. There is only truth in love. In love, in peace, in whatever love expresses itself, because that is the fabric of everything. So anything that's not love is not true and is not real. So that's why it's impersonal. So the more we can stop making it personal, the more we can let it go. Maybe you can just see, okay, this is like the Matrix. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to put it down and I'm free. That's one way. Other times you may need to give it back energetically to somebody that's still alive or is on the other side. Again, it's a very individual thing. But today's gift to all of us as a reminder is, what if it is not yours? Then what? And I would love to hear from you in the comments how this lands for you, what you're learning, what you want to share. Maybe there's some good insights for all of us to learn more from. That would be lovely. I look forward to hearing from you. If you need help with this, please reach out, of course. The link to set up a time for a self-discovery session is in the description. And also next week, Tuesday, I think it's July 1st, that is our next online gathering. And I will also put the link in the description, and it would be lovely if you would join us there. All right, friends, have a beautiful day.